At sunrise, the mist over Lake Lanier begins to lift, revealing a hidden sanctuary tucked among tall Georgia pines. It's not just any farmhouse. This is where Zac Brown, the voice behind country anthems like Chicken Fried and Colder Weather, retreats from the roar of sold-out arenas to the rhythm of southern stillness. But what lies behind these gates? Today, we step inside his world of music, family, and the heart of Southern life. Before the fame, before the Grammy wins and roaring festival crowds, there was a boy growing up near the still waters of Lake Lanier, Georgia. His name was Zac Brown, the 11th of 12 children in a house filled with noise, laughter, and old Southern hymns echoing from the radio. He was raised by his mother, Betty, and his stepfather, Dr. Jody Moses, a dentist who unknowingly helped shape country music history in the most unexpected way, by gifting young Zac his first guitar when he was just 8 years old. But this wasn't just a toy. It was a portal, a classical guitar, simple, aged, and worn at the frets, became Zac's first escape. And when a patient of his stepfather offered to give the boy lessons, something clicked. He didn't just strum. He studied. He absorbed. By his teenage years, Zac was spending weekends playing bluegrass alongside his father and older brother. The porch became his first stage, the lake his first audience. It was here, under the Georgia sun, that his deep connection with roots music began to form. But could a boy from the backwoods make a living off 6 strings and a Southern drawl? Zac thought so. While attending South Forsyth High and later Lumpkin County High in Dahlonega, Georgia, he began performing solo at local venues, inspired by the heartfelt storytelling of James Taylor. Between homework and weekend gigs, he honed his voice, not just his literal voice, but his voice as a songwriter, a performer, a soul. He enrolled at West Georgia College, joining the Zeta Kappa chapter of Kappa Alpha Order. But even there, the pull of music was stronger than any classroom. He served as a counselor at summer camps like Camp McKell and Camp Glisson, where he'd sit around fires strumming songs to kids under starlit skies, unknowingly preparing for the role he'd later play in Healing Through Music. But dreams need risk. In 2002, Zac founded the Zac Brown Band with drummer Marcus Petruska and bassist Jacob Lawson. The group played small bars, state fairs, anywhere that would have them. 2 years later, he opened a music club and restaurant near Lake Oconee with his father, a hub for the band and a testing ground for their sound. When a real estate developer bought the property, Zac made a bold move. He used the money to buy a tour bus. From that moment on, the road became home. The band released its independent album, Homegrown, slowly building a loyal grassroots following. When violinist Jimmy DeMartini joined the lineup, followed by bassist John Driscoll Hopkins, the puzzle began to complete itself, and then came the breakout. Chicken Fried wasn't just a song, it was an anthem, a love letter to Southern pride, simple joys, and fried chicken. It climbed the charts and never looked back. The debut album, The Foundation, 2008, followed with Toes, Whatever It Is, Highway 20 Ride, and Free, a parade of hits that turned the band into a household name. But Zac wasn't finished writing his story. The follow-up album, You Get What You Give, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, spawning radio staples like As She's Walking Away, with Alan Jackson, and Colder Weather. He wasn't just climbing charts, he was building a legacy. By 2012's Uncaged and the ambitious Jekyll plus Hyde in 2015, the Zac Brown Band had proven itself versatile, pushing boundaries while staying true to its roots. Collaborations with Foo Fighters' Dave Grohl, DJ Avicii, Kygo, and even Skrillex revealed Zac's curiosity, his hunger to mix tradition with innovation. But fame never swayed him far from home. Despite touring stadiums and topping charts, Zach always returned to Georgia, to the trees, the soil, the lake, the hum of crickets outside his farmhouse. Because while some artists chase luxury in Los Angeles or Nashville mansions, Zach built his own haven in the heart of the South, a place where music and family aren't just priorities. They're survival. That very place where it all comes together. Zach Brown's Georgia Farm, a masterpiece of soul, stone, and stillness. Fame in Georgia. Long before the awards, the world tours, and the sold-out shows, Zach Brown dreamed of one thing, a place to come home to. Not just a house, but a heartbeat. And he found it on the quiet banks of Lake Lanier, Georgia, where pine trees stretch tall and proud, and the stillness of water speaks louder than applause. Here lies a property that doesn't scream for attention. It whispers. And yet, behind those iron gates and under a canopy of southern sky sits a $3.2 million masterpiece, nearly 9,500 square feet of pure, intentional living. This is Zach Brown's Georgia farmhouse, and it's everything you don't expect, and everything you hope it would be. From the moment you turn into the drive, there's a feeling, a hush, like the earth itself is holding its breath. The driveway curves gently through manicured greenery, past native Georgia flowers, and leads to a grand entrance. But not grand in the flashy sense. Grand in the honest, hand-built, heart-carved kind of way. The stone facade, warm wood timbers, and pitched roof lines evoke an old-world charm, like something you'd find in a southern folk tale. But walk through the front door, and you're met with warmth and awe in equal measure. The main living room soars with vaulted ceilings, anchored by a monumental stone fireplace that has warmed more than just the room. It's where songs were strummed into life, where family gathered on cold nights, where silence had a sound of its own. Massive windows pull in the lake beyond like a painting that changes with the hour. The water glimmers in the morning, glows in the dusk, and always seems to be listening. Adjacent to the living room is a chef's kitchen worthy of any southern cook-off. Top-of-the-line appliances, granite countertops, a large center island, and a walk-in pantry capable of feeding a band on tour. This is where cornbread is made from scratch, where coffee is poured slow, where kids lean over the island asking their daddy about the next song. The breakfast nook by the fireplace isn't just charming, it's sacred. It's where mornings begin, where Zach watches the sun creep over the lake, where lyrics sometimes arrive uninvited, scribbled on napkins between bites of eggs and toast. Then comes the master suite. Not a room, but a refuge. It boasts a private fireplace, his and hers walk-in closets, and a spa-style bathroom with dual vanities, soaking tub, and windows that look out to the water. There's no need for television here. The lake tells better stories. But the beauty doesn't end there. This home opens like a novel. Each room a chapter, each hallway a line of melody. There's a home theater, where Zach's kids laugh at old comedies and watch their dad perform on screen. A game room with a full bar, echoing with stories from life on the road. A private gym and wellness space where he regroups after tours and long nights. It's not about excess. It's about energy, calm, grounding, sacred. And then, the outside, where the home spills into the landscape like a hymn into silence. A covered deck stretches across the back, shaded and serene, perfect for southern summers and quiet sunsets. There's an infinity-edge hot pool, where steam rises gently in the mornings. A cedar boathouse with a party deck, built not for flash, but for family. And a private dock, stretching out over Lake Lanier. A path not just into the water, but into stillness. This is where Zach teaches his children to cast a line, where he sits with his guitar and listens to the wind, where he returns, not to escape the world, but to remember who he is when the world isn't watching. Because for Zach Brown, this isn't just a property. It's a prayer, a poem, A place where music is made, not just in notes, but in how the trees sway, how the water shines, how the walls hold peace. And it's here, in this home built of heartwood and hope, that he lives the very lyrics he writes. But Zac Brown is a man of many layers, and just down the road in Atlanta, a second home reveals a different kind of Southern soul. Estate in Atlanta. If the Georgia farm is Zac Brown's soul, then this next home is his suit, tailored, refined, and steeped in timeless Southern class. Just outside the heartbeat of Atlanta sits an estate worth $5.5 million. A property that doesn't announce itself loudly, but rather invites you in with a whisper of old-world charm and quiet grandeur. The moment you step onto the grounds, it feels like crossing a threshold, not just into a home, but into a different time. Inspired by the English countryside, the estate is nestled among mature trees, sculpted hedges, and stone-lined paths that seem to know stories you haven't heard yet. The exterior is stately and serene. Gabled roofs, limestone accents, and thick oak doors that feel like they've been weathered by generations. But nothing here is accidental. Every detail, every brick, every vine climbing the facade, curated, chosen. Inside, the estate opens like a cathedral of craftsmanship. Warm white oak floors stretch beneath your feet, while cypress wood beams above add a grounding rhythm to the high, airy ceilings. There's a sense of reverence here, as if the home itself takes a deep breath and invites you to do the same. The foyer is filled with natural light, leading seamlessly into a formal living room and dining hall that are equal parts sophisticated and soulful. Here, Southern hospitality meets English manor elegance, crackling fireplaces framed by limestone mantels, oversized windows letting in filtered light, and an atmosphere that whispers, "Sit a while." The kitchen is both modern and monastic. Wolf and Sub-Zero appliances, custom cabinetry with rustic wood details, a massive central island with hand-carved finishes. It's where artistry meets utility, where Zac Brown's love for food and fellowship comes alive. Cooking here isn't a task, it's a ritual. From the kitchen, a casual family room beckons. Open concept, sunlit, cozy. The kind of place where guitars lean against chairs and music just happens. This isn't a display home, it's a lived-in canvas. And then, the primary suite, located privately on the main floor, tucked away like a well-kept secret. With its own sitting area, dual dressing rooms, and a spa-style bathroom complete with heated floors, dual showers, and even dual toilets, the space feels less like a bedroom and more like a retreat inside a retreat. Every corner of this home balances softness and strength. Step outside, and you're no longer in Atlanta. You're in Surrey, or Hampshire, or a Jane Austen novel brought to life in the Deep South. The gardens are lush and symmetrical, surrounding a heated pool that reflects the sky and the trees. There's a carriage house, fully converted into a pool home, rustic on the outside, elegant on the inside, perfect for guests or quiet reflection. Nearby, a two-car garage with a finished loft above offers another layer of space, solitude, and Southern utility. But what makes this estate extraordinary isn't just its craftsmanship, it's its energy. This is a place for stillness and thought. A place where Zac Brown, the rocker, the chef, the farmer, the father, becomes something quieter, more centered. Here he writes in the mornings, cooks in the evenings, and walks the gardens in between. He may tour the world, but this is where he grounds himself. Because the Atlanta estate isn't about opulence, it's about origin. About remembering where elegance began, in slow Sundays, soft rain on old windows, and the kind of beauty that takes its time. But elegance is only part of Zac Brown's story, because behind every stage light and stone wall, there's also a number. A fortune built not just from music, but from meaning. In a world where celebrity wealth often flashes like diamonds on red carpets, Zac Brown's fortune feels more like an oak tree, solid, deeply rooted, and quietly majestic. As of 2025, his estimated net worth sits at $60 million. But unlike others who build empires of excess, Zac has built a legacy of intention, where every dollar earned has a story and every investment holds a purpose. His wealth doesn't glitter, it grounds. Because at the end of the day, Zac Brown didn't become rich despite his humility. He became rich because of it. By staying true to his roots, by crafting songs that feel like home, and by investing in projects that feed the soul, Zac has turned authenticity into equity, and simplicity into serious fortune. But beyond numbers, charts, or dollar signs, there's something even more enduring about Zac Brown: his heart for giving, and the camp that changed thousands of lives. Philanthropy. Some stars give back when the cameras are on. Zac Brown gives back when the world is quiet, and the impact echoes even louder. At the heart of his legacy isn't just a hit record or a sold-out show. It's a quiet patch of land in Fayetteville, Georgia, where laughter, healing, and hope bloom every single summer. It's called Camp Southern Ground. Born from Zac's own experience as a camp counselor in his early years, this nonprofit vision began with a simple question: what if there was a place where kids of all backgrounds, abilities, and challenges could come together, not just to play, but to grow? So he built it. Set across hundreds of acres, Camp Southern Ground isn't your average summer camp. It's a fully inclusive, year-round residential experience serving children from ages 7 to 17, including those with autism spectrum disorders, learning disabilities, ADHD, and kids from military families. Here, difference isn't just accepted, it's celebrated. There are no cliques, no labels, just laughter echoing through the trees, high fives in the mess hall, and campfire songs sung by voices that might never have found a stage. In 2019, the camp reached a milestone. A $2.2 million fundraising effort allowed the construction of its first residential lodge, a permanent home for children who had never felt fully at home anywhere. But Zac didn't stop at kids. Outside the summer season, the camp transforms into a haven for veterans and military families, many of whom struggle to find purpose, peace, or community after returning home. His flagship program, Warrior Week, is designed to help former service members transition to civilian life. They come from different wars, different scars, different silences, but they leave with one powerful truth: they're not alone. Zac doesn't just write checks, he shows up. According to People magazine, he meets a U.S. veteran before every concert, bringing them on stage to be recognized by thousands. Not for applause, but for remembrance. In 2025, Zac was honored with the Veterans Voice Award, a testament to his ongoing, hands-on commitment to those who have served. And it doesn't end there. He's an active supporter of Little Kids Rock, a national organization working to restore music education in underfunded public schools. For Zac, music isn't entertainment, it's medicine, a tool for self-expression, confidence, and connection. As a father, he believes in lifting the next generation. As a veteran ally, he believes in healing those who've carried too much for too long. As a human being, he believes in leaving every place and every person better than he found them. This isn't charity for headlines, it's service from the heart. Because Zac knows what it means to be seen, to be believed in, to have someone say, "You matter." That's what Camp Southern Ground is. That's what his entire philanthropic mission has become. A place where children find courage, where veterans find peace, and where giving isn't an obligation, it's a calling. But what does a man like Zac Brown return to when the tours are over, the lights go down, and the music fades? The answer lies in the most personal chapter of all: personal life. When the stage lights dim and the final note fades into silence, Zac Brown doesn't chase the after-party. He returns to something far more sacred: stillness. For a man who's performed in front of tens of thousands, Zac's most meaningful moments are the quiet ones. Mornings on the porch with coffee in hand, a dog curled at his feet, and Lake Lanier shimmering in the distance. Afternoons teaching his kids how to build a fire or bait a hook. Evenings spent strumming his guitar under a Georgia sunset, where the only audience is the wind. But like many journeys, his path to peace wasn't always paved in harmony. In 2016, Zac's name made headlines, not for a song, but for an early morning incident at a Florida hotel. A drug raid, a report, a room with others arrested. Though Zac wasn't charged, the story raised eyebrows, especially after it was revealed that police had intentionally omitted his name from official documents. The backlash was swift, the scrutiny intense. And in the middle of the storm, Zac did something rare in celebrity culture. He owned it. He released a heartfelt apology, admitting he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and more importantly, choosing to learn instead of deflect. For Zac, the experience was a reckoning, not just with public image but with personal truth. It marked the start of a deeper transformation. He began focusing more on wellness, mentally, physically, spiritually. He cut out distractions, leaned into nature, doubled down on being present for his family. And then, something unexpected happened. In 2025, Zac appeared on the red carpet of the American Music Awards, holding hands with Kendra Scott, a Texas-born jewelry designer and entrepreneur with a heart as strong as her brand. Elegant, grounded, and fiercely independent, Kendra brought a calmness to Zac's life that fans immediately noticed. Just months later, in July, the couple announced their engagement, sharing the news exclusively with People magazine. For Zac, it wasn't just love. It was timing. A new chapter, a new harmony. Today, their life is a gentle rhythm of blended family dinners, shared sunsets, and dreams built side by side. Zac has 5 children from his previous marriage, and though he's always kept them out of the spotlight, it's clear: fatherhood is his favorite role. He speaks of them with reverence, often crediting them as his greatest teachers. When he's not touring or recording, Zac can be found doing the simplest things: cooking barefoot in his farmhouse kitchen, planting vegetables in his garden, or crafting songs by hand in his home studio, tucked beneath oak beams and old concert posters. He's also found a deep connection with mindfulness, practicing yoga, outdoor meditation, and even wilderness retreats to stay centered in a chaotic world. Solitude, for Zac, isn't loneliness. It's fuel. And then there's his music, still pouring out, still evolving. He's writing not just for radio, but for healing. He's mentoring younger artists, hosting songwriting camps, creating space for others to find their voices, just as he once found his. Zac Brown, in this season of his life, isn't chasing anything. Not fame, not trends, not validation. He's moving slower, listening deeper, loving harder, and in doing so, he's writing a new kind of song, one that may never chart, but will echo in the lives he's touched, the children he's raised, the woman he loves, and the home he's built with his bare hands. Because in the end, his truest masterpiece isn't a platinum album or a sold-out stadium. It's the life he lives when no one's watching. Zac Brown's life is more than music. It's a reminder that peace is a choice, and home is a rhythm you carry within. If this story moved you, take a moment to reflect, breathe, and maybe strum your own chord of gratitude. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys inside the homes, hearts, and lives of those who live with purpose.